This is one of those unique videos where it's not really meant for you, at least most of you, as here I am really trying to talk to Bethesda. Because yeah, I think it's finally time we need to talk about this paid mod situation. It's getting bad. Late last year, Bethesda added support for paid mods once again. This is officially known as Creations, and it was implemented for both Skyrim and then a bit later on for Starfield. And unlike many of you out there and many of you watching right now, I see the potential for the system to work. For me, some of the mods released via Creations are high enough quality that I genuinely think they're worth the money. I mean, hey, Skyrim literally just got a new DLC-sized experience created from modders and distributed via this system, and it's amazing. This is exactly the paid mod content many of us have been wanting for years. Except, as much promise as the system has, it really feels like due to some of the choices being made by Bethesda and what type of content they're allowing in, Creations may not end up lasting all of that long, and even if good quality content continues to come, it may end up just getting lost in the mix anyway. I know for a lot of you watching right now, any mod that costs money is just too expensive, but for better or worse, not everyone agrees with you, and there is a sizable audience of users who are happy to pay for some types of content. Because you can see, some of the content coming out via this paid mod system is genuinely high quality, even if you don't necessarily agree on the pricing of it. You can build out a full-fledged castle settlement in Starfield. This includes a full castle and separate keep building set and decorations to add on top, but also 30 appropriately themed player homes that you can place down on any planet to call home. Want to live out your days in a medieval villa? Well, this mod will have you covered. I'm not really big on player homes myself, but I totally get why people find this one to be worth the money. You can make some of those generic spacers in Starfield far more interesting with a fully custom and unique armor set. These armors deliberately designed around the spacer's scavenging style, so you see some references to that, and all of a sudden, this relatively forgettable raider enemy in Starfield has a much larger presence and honestly are just kind of creepy now. With of course some awesome looking armors that you could take for yourself. But of course the best example thus far is the Bard's College expansion for Skyrim, a $10 paid mod that is effectively the size of a full-scale Skyrim DLC, featuring an extensive questline, tons of new mechanics, as well as a variety of replayable features. It is literally just a Skyrim DLC, and this team is planning on making several more just like this. These are just a few of the examples of some of the content being released here that is undeniably high quality. Like yeah, maybe you don't actually agree that this should cost money, or maybe it's not worth it for money for you, but I think you can put that aside to understand how some players could see this as being worth a purchase. Bethesda themselves have been releasing content via this, which is a bit more questionable to me. They just dropped this new quest, Escape for Starfield. It's basically just Squid Game's Starfield version with a ton of options and outcomes, and it's genuinely a phenomenal quest, easily one of my favorite quests in Starfield overall. But do we really want $5 microtransaction quests made by the developer of our $70 game? Bethesda at this point has released several paid mods like this, and while I think the Escape may genuinely be the best value out of the bunch, it still does feel a bit icky to be buying individual quests in a single player RPG that you paid full price for. But even this I can understand. Even if I don't necessarily agree with Bethesda selling individual quests, this quest is high quality, and some people are more than happy to pay a premium for that. Although, yeah, I do fully recognize I've already lost many of you. Which, speaking of, there is also this weird middle category of mods that fall into a more questionable section, at least for me. Content that is okay in its own right, but really makes you question why it's allowed to be a paid mod in the first place. And in my opinion, this is where some of the problems begin. Tons of skin mods have been flooding the Creation store. And while, yeah, it's just $2 and these skins definitely look good, is this really content we want to be paying for? There are a ton of free skin mods already, and yeah, these do look awesome, but I'm not really sure it's worth any kind of premium over free. Just recently, we saw some new 8K dragon skins that were released for Skyrim on PC. The console versions aren't quite at 8K. This retails for $3, and while yeah, the skins look good, retexture basically every dragon in Skyrim, and even add in some new details and some very nice night visuals, do we really need to be buying 8K dragon skins for Skyrim? And some of the skins don't necessarily even look quite as awesome as those. Like with this creation, where I paid $3 for some skins that apply to just one weapon, the AA-99 in Starfield. Even just on principle, 9 skins for one weapon feels a bit steep at $3, but honestly, I don't even place all that much blame on the mod authors for posting this type of content because Bethesda is literally doing the exact same thing. As right now, Bethesda is offering Starfield skin packs for $3 a pop, and they're even selling one outfit, which, while nice, is probably not worth the $4 price tag on it. What would you rather, this outfit and 2 skin packs, or a full-fledged Skyrim DLC for the exact same price? And I think via this, you could start to see how there is a pretty big value proposition difference between some of the content being offered via this. And hold on, because this isn't even some of the worst of it. While I personally feel like individual skin packs really have no place in a paid mod shop on a $70 game or even a $60 game, some people do, as many of these products do have shockingly high purchase numbers for what I feel is a pretty simple piece of paid content. And while I'm not intending to target mod authors here specifically, lots of the authors who post skins do have several skin packs for sale. And if you add up the value of all of these skin packs, many of them total the price of some of the DLCs, just for a bunch of skins. I'll expand on this a bit more later in this video, but in preparation, I did get the opinion of several authors actually in this program, finding out what they think about all of this. And the simple reality is there is a giant gap in the type of content being offered here. Some of the stuff is incredibly high quality, while some other stuff just leaves me wondering why it was a paid mod in the first place. And just generally speaking, paid mods are an uphill battle. Many users out there don't even like the idea of a paid mod. And then content like this is just making that battle a lot harder for those who are genuinely trying to make paid mod content that is worth it. But yeah, it actually gets even worse than that, because on both Skyrim and Starfield's paid mod stores, you can find some items that just feel like downright cash grabs and I don't think should be allowed to be sold in the first place. And this is the aspect of all of this that I genuinely have a problem with. One of the debut mods for Starfield's mod store was attachments for one of the weapons, that being the Beowulf. And all this attachment would do is increase your HP. So you attach the same exact scope or barrel on this weapon, but since you paid $1, you now have a variant that will add 20 HP to your character. Add on a couple of these attachments and congrats, your character has slightly higher HP. Everything else is exactly the same. It's not even like these attachments look any different. Like yeah, it's only $1, so it's not the end of the world, but why is this even allowed to be sold? If this was a free mod, it would still be silly. But as a paid mod, it just feels like complete nonsense. Using console commands to increase your health would literally be easier. You can buy this premium Vault-Tec Vasco skin for $2. And honestly, do I even need to say anything here? Do you think this should cost money? Should this be a $2 premium purchase for your $70 game? And honestly, I don't even really blame the author on this one. Bethesda has to approve this content. They have to allow it to be listed on the storefront. Why was this allowed in the first place? And perhaps the single most egregious example yet, we have the Forgotten Armory collection for Skyrim. Honestly, at first glance, this one seems fine. 50 new weapons for Skyrim at the cost of $5. The weapons aren't the best quality per se, but 50 weapons is still quite a bit. They are largely just the same weapons at different tiers with slight visual modifications, but 50 weapons is still quite a bit, except there's one pretty big problem. This weapon pack was literally released as a free mod several months before it came out as a paid mod. It has the same name, except the free variant actually includes 65 weapons as opposed to 50 in the paid variant. And yeah, these are literally identical. Here's the Knightly Longsword. Can you tell which one's paid and which one's free? No, you can't, because they're literally the exact same thing. And yeah, the free version on Nexus actually includes several more weapons compared to the paid alternative, so you're paying to get slightly less content. This is technically allowed by Bethesda. It was one of the more recent changes made to the creations program, where already released content is now allowed to be repurposed as a paid mod. So you can just take something you already released for free on Nexus mods and upload it here as a paid option. The idea being that some free mods could be improved, so you could basically take a free mod, add a bunch of content to it, and then sell it as a paid upgrade. Of course, this specific example almost did the opposite of that and offers less content in the paid variant. And it even gets even worse than that, because this entire weapon pack is just an asset flip. The Medieval Collection Weapon Variety Pack can be bought for $25 on CG Trader. And wouldn't you know, those are all of the weapons included in this paid mod. They just bought a weapon pack and then uploaded it to Nexus for free and then started selling it in the Skyrim creations for $5. And this is the type of stuff I have big issues with. There are clearly some users taking advantage of this system to make a quick buck, and the reason for that is Bethesda is letting them. Bethesda seems to be just taking a very laissez-faire, anything goes, let the free market decide approach with this entire program, and that just seems really bad to me. Paid mods are an uphill battle. I probably don't have to explain that to many of you watching, because you probably hate these from the onset. The very idea of a mod costing money will alienate a lot of people in the Bethesda modding community. So then them also just basically letting anything go feels like it's only making that entire situation worse. And the reason is they're letting almost anyone in. Since its release, the creation system has exploded with creators. Tons of applications have been accepted, so there are now several hundred users with this opportunity to sell paid mods. And as you can see, there's not a lot of moderation on what's being posted. In my eyes, a lot of this content just doesn't feel right as a paid option. And even further, remember how just recently we got all of those leaks around Starfield's buggy update? We had videos as well as images and descriptions of what this new Rev 8 buggy would be. Yeah, that was from people in this program. Bethesda did something that I think is pretty cool and gave some of the verified creators early access to the next Starfield update, and some of those users immediately took to leaking the content of that update. So Bethesda ended up having to pull access from those creators. In preparation for this video, I spoke to quite a few of the authors currently working in this creation program, and many are upset with the system as it exists right now and even have concerns over its future viability. Because let's say you're making some really high quality custom content to sell. When you jump onto the mod shop, you'll see a ton of stuff that just isn't super high quality. Lots of skins, some asset flips with some quality content mixed in, but it's not all that easy to differentiate. The shop itself has really bad sorting tools. You can sort by verified creators, but that'll show you everything released by those people thus far, whether it be paid or free. As well as on the Skyrim side, this also includes all of the old Creation Club content too. There's no actual way to just see some of the newly released paid mods. So obviously, better sorting system and a way to just see every single paid mod available is obvious to me. But even further, something like Nexus's mod's hot files seems like it would be a great addition here. If a new paid mod comes out and starts selling really well, it should go into this featured section, as opposed to just every paid mod getting featured at some point, regardless of quality or popularity. But even worse, there's no review or comment system either. You can like a mod, which yeah, that's definitely an indication of something, but if you're just browsing the shop trying to figure out what's worth the money versus what isn't, you're kind of on your own unless you go online and do some independent research. A simple 1 to 5 star review system seems like it would go a long way, and comments seem vital. This is modding. There are conflicts, bugs, and all kinds of other issues that'll pop up. It feels important to have some kind of consolidated way to talk about this, or even just review paid content, and lacking those features feels like a big misstep that is geared towards having a less informed purchaser. But more so than anything else, it seems pretty clear to me that Bethesda needs to up their moderation in order to protect this system over the long term. It feels like we finally got a variant of paid mods that can work. We have some releases from this one that are actually worth the money. And on the mod author side, everyone I've talked to seems happy with the financial and development side of creations. The releases were mostly profitable, and many wanted to continue working on future pieces of high quality content. And we're even excited about what kind of opportunities this newfound income could open up for them. They can make higher quality content than ever and actually start doing some of this full time. Bethesda themselves provides QA for the mods released in this program, and many spoke to that as a massive asset and help to them. And the biggest frustration and concern from nearly everyone I spoke to was how easy it was to get into the program and the amount of low quality content that was being released. Because for a lot of these authors, this is a big concern. Imagine you sit down and spend 6 months working on a really high quality mod that you are genuinely trying to make worth a premium price over a free alternative. Lots of the authors here will spend some of their own money to make their mods better, whether it be by hiring professional voice actors, hiring some artists or other roles that they outsource. But then months later, as you finally finish up your new creation and release it, it's on a mod shop next to a bunch of skins, an asset flip being shown in the featured section, and it's almost starting to feel like some of the truly quality content is becoming a diamond in the rough. As right now, there is a pretty clear divide in the quality of content being released here, and those authors making the quality content are unhappy with these cash grabs being posted because it hurts their financial future as well. Some of these authors even voice concerns over the entire store shutting down in the future. There's clearly a big PR problem with paid mods, and that's understandable. Lots of the community hate them, largely due to the past failed attempts at them. But now that we have a bit of a better system, it feels like it may never even get the chance to actually produce quality content over a longer period of time because all of the controversial and overpriced content being released right now. Some of the authors I spoke to actually changed their future plans because they were concerned they'd devote a ton of time and money into a larger project, going full time to do it, only for the creation store to have a horrible reputation by the time of release, or potentially not even exist anymore. And that's why this video is really meant to be a message towards Bethesda. I'm one of the people who is far more sympathetic to paid mods than most in the community. And I think a big part of that is I've been fortunate enough to get a peek at what's coming next and actually speak to many of the authors that are benefiting from this program. Some of these authors are genuinely excited about what this allows them to create. There are quite a few of these DLC-sized projects in the pipeline right now, many famous and notable notable authors working together on something really cool. But as the system exists right now, there are some major issues that I think need to be resolved in order to protect the long-term viability. This organization just needs to be improved. There should be an easy way for me to browse purchasable mods, and please add in some kind of rating or review system that feels imperative. But most important of all, there needs to just be better moderation. Some of the content just doesn't belong here, and it feels like there is a pursuit towards quantity over quality right now from Bethesda and allowing whatever to go up, which is already starting to alienate some of the authors and especially the users. I mean, even me. Some of these releases just feel bad, and it makes you not want to support something like this. On the flip side, imagine a paid mod shop where, yeah, you might not agree with all of the prices on it, but at least you know that everything being offered here is something somebody worked hard on, something that actually is a very high quality mod or creation. Allowing asset flips that literally have free alternatives with more content just makes this whole thing feel like a scam for a lot of users. But honestly, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What has your experience been with creations and paid mods overall? Are you against it totally and genuinely hope to see some of this content fail? Or are you like me and a bit more onto the optimistic side, where you think there could be a future where DLC-sized experience created by mod authors could be sold here? What's your take on how paid mods exist right now with Bethesda games? And if you are interested in more, you can check out this video to see a more comprehensive review of that recent Escape creation, as well as a look at what's coming in Starfield's future.